Good afternoon. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Frank Granito in studio alongside Kevin Coleman. Monday, June 4th here on the HAN Network. And we are into the final week of the 2017-2018 sports year, Kev.
And we get round 3 between Darien, New Canaan, and boys lacrosse. Everyone's looking forward to Wednesday at 5 o'clock. That's going to be a great matchup. Richfield, Glastonbury in that other semifinal as well as things start to shape up. And you're really starting to see, again, a lot of good representation from the FCAC in all the state tournaments.
Yeah, across the board in the state tournaments in different classes, too. The St. Joe's boys lacrosse team and St. Joe's baseball team both advancing to semifinals. You mentioned 3 teams in the boys lacrosse tournament. Of course, we've also got Ridgefield in baseball for Class L. They're there. Softball has got Trumbull advancing along. So, I mean, a lot of tournaments, and then you've got 3 more again in girls lacrosse with New Canaan, Darien, and Ridgefield as well. It's been a very good spring for the FCAC, but now you've got to finish it. It'll be a forgotten spring if you don't have at least a couple of championships under your belts here. But our recurring theme in all those sports we just mentioned, Kev, the Ridgefield Tigers. 4 teams in the semifinals in girls, boys lacrosse, boys volleyball, and baseball.
That's what I'm talking about, Tigers. I know it may not be the year of the Tiger. I know it was last year, big representation from Ridgefield, but what a great job by the spring teams here out of Ridgefield High School for rallying together, especially the baseball team after losing so quickly early on in the FCAC tournament to Fairfield Ludlow. For this team to bounce back, you know, Alex Price, the ace, and for Coach Fabry to get this team to rebound after a tough early exit. It's great to see this baseball team is starting to play well again and have a shot to get to the state championship game. And now they have an opportunity to, you know, they're the lone FCAC team because the only, you know, Staples is out. They lost to Cheshire, and you know Fairfield Prep, they'll take on Cheshire. So this is Richfield's opportunity now to earn themselves a spot in the state final, and that would be a great story for the Tigers to not only get to the state final, but for them to bounce back after an early exit. I think that would be tremendous.
A tough matchup, though, having to take on Amity, and I'm sure Amity much happier to see Ridgefield remaining versus Staples when it comes to the FCAC teams. Baseball, St. Joe's on a nice run there in Class M, so keep an eye on them. I mean, it's been you harped on it perfectly. It's been a really good spring for the FCAC now with all that they've output. Trumbull in softball, I think they'll be a favorite heading into this weekend. Obviously not the top seed, but I think they can put themselves in a great position to go back-to-back, especially with the experience having won last year. St. Joe's softball still hanging around there as well. So we've got a lot of good things going on in those sports.
And I also think volleyball deserves to be talked about as well. They didn't get enough attention that they deserve this spring. And, you know, I think a lot of people are hoping, and I know the Richfield Tigers are hoping, that they get another opportunity, get another crack at Staples because they have to face a tough Newtown team this evening who beat them early on in the regular season. Newtown undefeated. This is going to be a very close game, very two similar teams, Newtown and Ridgefield tonight, the 2-3 matchup. And then the 1-4 is Staples against East Hartford. And I think on paper, I think you expect to see Staples and Ridgefield meet again, but this is not going to be easy for either one of these teams.
No, and it's a Staples team that's played very well all year. They've really lived up to the hype they set for themselves. They told us early on in the winter when we were doing a game at Staples that this was going to be their year. They were the team to beat, and they've continued to live up to that. Now you're into the Final Four of the state tournament. It's almost uncharted waters for the Wreckers. They are new to this group, so it'll be interesting to see how they hang around here. Upsetting a little bit, Darien and Ridgefield had to meet a round earlier than they probably needed to, but keep in mind, Newtown has defeated Ridgefield already this year.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good matchup tonight. And you know, we hope to see 2 FCI teams make it. And you know, those 2 teams really fought hard. And you're right about Staples. And this is a fantastic team for them to be motivated all season long. For the past couple of years, they always felt like they were the odd man out because of Ridgefield and Darien, and now it's their turn. And it's good to see that, you know, they're living up to what they promised early on in the season, what they were building on, the goals that they set early on in the season for boys volleyball. They met them. They got 1 check mark down for the FCAC championship. They got one more check mark to cross off, and when it starts tonight, they have to take on a very tough opponent. And for them, to get over the hump, they have to be able to beat Richfield or Newtown. Two teams whoever wins tonight, not going to be an easy opponent. And I tell you, if Richfield beats Newtown tonight in that semifinal, that is going to be a tremendous state championship game. Richfield does not want to lose again after losing last year to Darien. So if you're Staples, you have to realize that you got to take it one game at a time to fulfill that goal.
Trumbull will play Cheshire in the Class LL semifinals. That at the bottom of the bracket, the 2-3 matchup, and you've got Southington and Amity, 1 versus number 5 at the top of the bracket. That Class LL, those games are scheduled for this afternoon up at West Haven. And then in Class M, tomorrow, St. Joe's, the 9 seed, after beating Northwestern 8-0. They will take on number 5 Granby, and you've got North Branford and Griswold 2 versus 3 at the bottom of that bracket. Those games are at DeLuca Field tomorrow, 4 and 7. So I think St. Joe's really has asserted themselves amongst Class M. 6-0 over Plainfield, 6-1 over Wolcott, 8-0 over Northwestern, who was undefeated going into that game. So they've really started to hit their stride now coming out of that FCAC championship and rolling fast into the state tournament as well.
Yeah, and they're getting great pitching, they're getting timely hitting. It's just an all-around team effort. And you're right, as a number 9 seed going into this tournament, great to see them clicking now after beating Trumbull in the FCAC final. This is that time of the year where if you start to play hot, and then you continue that roll, well, into the state tournament you go, and that's what they've continued to do after winning that FCAC championship game. And Trumbull has a great opportunity here to bring home another state championship back to St. Joseph's High School.
Speaking of getting hot, I mean, you talk about baseball and Richfield, their run. How about the baseball team up at St. Joe's? What they've been able to do in this tournament, putting up borderline, as Mike Suppy talked about, lacrosse numbers here. You've got 13-11, they outlast East Catholic. 16-15 outlasting Montville in the 12-0 win to start the tournament over Norwood Tech. But we said we thought they maybe laid a little bit of an egg there in the FCAC tournament. They underperformed after what they had done, but still very young and probably a year away. They made it all the way to the championship last year. They're back in the Final Four, looking to right the ship this year, and they're doing a lot of things well. They got a big break too. The number 1 seed out early, so they've got number 9 Seymour standing there ahead of them, then Ledyard and Wolcott at the bottom of the bracket. Wolcott, St. Joe's, it's going to be my pick, and I think it'd be a really good matchup to see in the championship.
And I agree with you about St. Joe's being maybe a year too early, and whatever happens in the state tournament, I still, this is a great ball club, and they have a great opportunity now to continue this run and get into the championship game. But for them, I still think that even if they have an exit here in the state tournament, they learn a lot about themselves losing early in the FCAC tournament. Now they know next year with a lot of talent coming back, they can learn from this, get stronger, get better, get smarter, and that's going to benefit them next year. And St. Joe's is a baseball program now that is on the rise.
Yeah.
And this is going for not just the FCAC teams, this is going across the state. They're sending a message that we're building a program here, and we're coming to play for the next couple of years, and we're going to be contenders.
Well, they're doing the same in lacrosse as well. In the Class S tournament of boys lacrosse, they are in the semifinals. The Cadets will take on Granby after defeating number 1 St. Paul 11-1 in the quarterfinals. They took down Old Lyme 12-2 in the first round. Jared Malazzi has been tremendous in this tournament. On the other side of the bracket, though, Somers and East Catholic have just been offensive machines. So you could be... even Granby, too. I mean, the teams that have advanced now have all scored double digits and have won by double digits in each of their games. I think you're looking at a very high-scoring affair in that championship game, however it spins out. I think it'll be a tight one, but you're looking somewhere around the St. Joe's baseball numbers, 13-11, 15-16 kind of score.
It'd be a great story, too, for St. Joe's. You look at Ridgefield having 4 teams make it pretty far in the state tournament. About St. Joe's now, this could be a school where you get to see a lot of teams, three teams now, get pretty far in the state tournament, and they have a great opportunity here. This is a talented club, and you look at St. Joe's, their story as well. This is a team last year had a little struggles, and then this year they're really competitive. And Jared Malazzi, I think after that game-winning goal against Ludlow a couple weeks ago, I think that really motivated the young kid, and he's coming out really playing well as a captain. They have a great opportunity as well. This is a great story for St. Joseph's High School. Kevin Butler and crew over there, the athletic director, have to be thrilled at what they're seeing right now, and hopefully they can continue their great run in the state tournament.
It's going to be a lot of fun the next few days as the semifinals start to get underway and we set the stage for the spring championships. A couple semifinals we're going to focus in on. Next, boys and girls lacrosse. We saw the New Canaan Fairfield Prep quarterfinal on Saturday. We're going to break that one down when we get back after the break on the HAN Network.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Go to myorthoct.com, like them on Facebook.
We welcome you back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Frank Granito alongside Kevin Coleman in studio on this Monday. Looking back at this past weekend, we were at Dunning Field at New Canaan High School on Saturday. Number 4, New Canaan, taking on number 12, Fairfield Prep, coming off a third consecutive SCC championship. They had just beat number 5 Staples 11-10 in overtime. They had already taken down the Rams earlier this year, Kevin. I mean, it would have been very tough to pick against Prep with everything that they were doing right heading into this game.
Right, and talking to Nick Cravato after the game, he mentioned how this team was pretty motivated going into this one because they lost at Fairfield Prep. And I think also because they missed a lot of players due to injury too. And this is a Rams team that really is motivated right now. You look across the board, and I think the one big thing too, and this goes back to their win against Fairfield Ludlow. I think they've come together, not just the starters, but as a team as a whole, guys, on the bench as well. That game was big for New Canaan because they won by a large margin, but they got younger players to come into that game that, for them to get their first varsity start and to get in some state tournament play for the first time, some of the freshmen, some of the sophomores, that was big for this team to kind of come together and say, we got something special going on here. We have another opportunity to take on Darien, have another crack at them, and that roster over there is ready to take on Darien again. They want another shot at the Blue Wave, and Nick Cravato said it too in the interview. This is what they were. This is the goal. We want to get to the state semis. We want to have that date with Darien again if it's the third time, and yes, it is. So especially after losing 13-12 in the dramatic fashion it was. So this is a New Canaan team that right now, yes, was it a close game throughout the most part of this one on Saturday? Yes. But I thought their defense stepped up, and Carl Mazabris, the kid is playing unbelievable right now. I'm almost speechless to what he's been able to do net minding for the Rams.
Certainly was a close game, but I don't think it's a knock on the Rams at all. You're right. Prep played well. They were able to weather some of the New Canaan runs there, but in the end, just too much there. I think the injury to Chiata really hurt them early on.
Yeah.
They kind of threw the offense a little out of sync, and it allowed New Canaan to build up a lead. Well, you're right. If they can get ahead, their defense is very reliable, and there is no denying right now Nick Cravato is bar none, the best face-off man in this state for the public school tournaments right now.
No, I fully agree.
He's playing out of his mind. He is healthy again. He's looked really, really good, and he was a huge part of the New Canaan 9-7 victory on Saturday as we take a look back at the highlights now.
Hands it off for Real. He's got room to shoot, goes down low, and he beats Mazabras. Sam Karasi, a couple of hacks at Dean. Mack trying to get to the front of the net, went down low. Is it in? Yes! As it is, Cravado winning the draw to start the third quarter. Quick shot from Griffiths. Takes just 6 seconds after a scoreless second quarter.
A great look there from O'Connell as well.
Heading to the front of the net is Kione! What a heads-up play from the freshman.
Cravado, that is big heading into this matchup against Darien because Tanner Strube is not playing as well as we have seen him play. He struggled. I was talking to a couple of people who were at that game, and they said that Chris Sweeney borderline dominated Strube in that face-off circle. If Cravado is able to control the draw circle, the Rams are able to dictate the pace of play against Darien, they just might have, you know, the keys to being able to finally beat this team.
Right.
Eventually, it's going to go their way, especially when you think about how tight they have played them in the postseason the past few years. If someone's going to do it, it's New Canaan, and if it's not this next game, I don't know when it's going to be.
And you know, they've all said it throughout since they last lost to Darien 13-12 in the AFSAC final. A couple bounces didn't go their way. Imagine if those bounces went their way. I think you're looking, maybe it's 14-13, maybe it's 13-13 going to overtime. And who knows at that point? But I think right now, and you're right, Cravado is playing out of his mind in the face-off circle, and with guys like Teddy Mangus, you know, Mac Dean, all those guys are really clicking right now on the offensive side. And if they're able to, and you know what, Darby can guard Quentin O'Connell. Let him. Let the other guys do the work because they've been doing it.
Also, keep in mind too, Quentin O'Connell went off for 5 goals in the FCX championship when being guarded by Andrew Darby. So that matchup could potentially turn out to be a wash either way. But Ryan Kione, the freshman, and Chris Kinnett have both been contributing.
Yeah.
Mac Dean has put in a lot of good minutes. You mentioned Owen Shin, Quentin O'Connell. I think the big name for me is that Mac Dean is playing his best lacrosse of the season right now. Yeah. He's really come into his own. We think we'll see Ben Conley at some point in time. The captain was dressed, went through warm-ups on Saturday, didn't touch the field though. Liam Griffiths played very, very well. So you're right. The pieces are there. On the other side, it's going to be the usual suspects. Logan McGovern is going to get his. It's how much can you hold him to. Brian Minikis, surprisingly quiet with just a goal and 2 assists against Wilton. So give credit there to the Warriors containing his success. Jack Joyce did have a hat trick. Sean Collins and Carl Mazabras, I think you're going to see a wash in net. If you had told me a week ago I would be looking at this game and thinking it's relatively close, I wouldn't have believed you. Yeah. I'm very surprised saying that, you know what, New Canaan is borderline about to be on par with Darien. They have proven they can hang with them, and you're right, they're just a couple of little plays away from having ended this win streak.
And that's why I'm curious to see what this matchup in the face-off circle is going to be like a second time around, a third round time again, because you look at this matchup between Tanner Strube and Nick Cravado, and Cravado is right now, I think momentum-wise, has to be going towards Nick. Tanner can, you know, Tanner's one of those players though, super motivated. He's always a competitor. He wants to come out and win, and I think you're going to see that on Wednesday as well. These two guys are going to go at it, and you know, you ask me which one to pick, you can't, because the two of them alone, they're just two terrific Fogos this season for both squads, and this is going to be another awesome matchup between these two rivals.
We do have to take a break here. I want to talk a little bit more about the Ridgefield Newtown matchup there in the bracket, and I also want to, or excuse me, Ridgefield Glastonbury. I also want to look ahead at the girls lacrosse tournament, but some breaking news in, and this via tweet via Doug Bonjour. Staples has hired its next football coach, Kevin.
Ooh.
It is Phil Treglia, formerly of Archbishop Stepinac. So Phil Treglia, the Wreckers coach, Monday, June 4th, the search finally ends. Got to take a break on Nutmeg Sports. We'll look at girls lacrosse state semis when we get back on the HAN Network.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Vitana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet. 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us. UK Gourmet.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Girls lacrosse semifinals for Class L will begin tomorrow at Brian McMahon. First game up, Cheshire and Ridgefield. It'll be New Canaan, Darien, and the nightcap. Kev, let's just talk about these Ridgefield Tigers suffering the tough first-round loss against Greenwich in the FCIAC tournament. Come back, they get revenge over Greenwich, 7-6 win, and now they move on to face the number 2 team. I am very high on the Tigers. I'm a believer. I like their odds in this game.
So do I. The Tigers. This is a fantastic, fantastic story for them. And the captains this year, especially Caroline Colonel. This is a motivated group, and they feel like they have a little chip on their shoulder after losing to Greenwich at Greenwich in the FCI quarterfinals in heartbreaking fashion. Greenwich played really well in that quarterfinal, but for Ridgefield to come as a unit and say to themselves, all right, we want another shot at Greenwich again in the state tournament. They pushed that loss to the side and move straight ahead to the state tournament. And that's what you want to see from a team that loses in a tough way to an opponent, and you get to see them again. This is why this goes maybe a little similarity to New Canaan here when they take on Darien in the boys bracket. But for Ridgefield to come in and beat Greenwich 7-6, this is a team that's very confident right now going in the semifinals, and they have a great opportunity now to take down number 2 Cheshire. This is going to be a great game. And I agree with you. I got Tigers in this one as well. They're playing great lacrosse at the right time.
It is just very fitting, too, that this is the way Caroline Colonel's career is going to trend out. She was not going to be an early round elimination.
No.
So it is very cool. That's the first game, and I do think the Tigers win that one. On the other side, Darien, close one against Ludlow, 15-8, the final there. That was a shocker. I had it at 10. I told you. I said I had him at 10. I was a little concerned there. New Canaan, 10-6 over Wilton. This might be the most impressive performance by the Rams this year, especially bouncing back after the tough loss against the Warriors in the FCIAC tournament. They get a second shot at the Blue Wave now. They had it close for a while in that first meeting. Then there was the controversial substitution play. And Darien really opened it up. How do your early thoughts on this game looking at it?
I think it's going to be close. I think this is going to be a close game for New Canaan. This is just like Ridgefield for them to bounce back after losing in a tough one against Wilton in the FCIAC semifinals. This is a New Canaan team right now that's coming together at the right time, and I think this is going to be a close game. This is not going to be a cakewalk for Darien. They have to realize that, and Coach Lindley's going to get the girls ready to go, because I'm sure during moments during that game against Ludlow, yes, they won 15-8. But we know Lisa. I'm sure there were things that she wants to work on before getting ready for the Rams.
They could have won 21-0. Lisa Lindley would have still been upset and trying to work on things.
True.
For you here, who's the most important player in this game?
Ooh, it's got to be the Humphrey sisters. I'm going to go Humphrey sisters. And I'm going to say Katie Ramsey in the draw circle. She had a little bit of a tough time against Paisley Egan in the FCIAC final, but the Humphrey sisters are going to continue to go off, and for this defense to continue to play well. This is not going to be, like I said, it's not going to be a cakewalk for Darien. This is going to be a tough battle. This is a New Canaan team that's very motivated. I think for New Canaan, it's going to be Carly Bucci. I think she's the one that's going to get these girls ready to go for the Rams and motivate them before the game starts in the huddle. And Carly Bucci for me is my name, and Katie Ramsey in the draw circles is my pick for Darien.
Obviously, Bucci in the draw circle is going to play a huge role in this game, and that's going to be a big factor there. But I think you got to go with Julia Ojemek. I think defensively, she's going to be tasked with marking one of the Humphrey sisters in this game. If she can limit the production of one, does it maybe slow down the other as well? Listen, New Canaan is not going to win this game 13-12 or 14-13. They do not want this to be a shootout. If you're the Rams, you're hoping Braden Dial can put up 3 or 4 goals. You get a couple poked in from some supporting cast members, and you find a way to escape 8-7 or 8-6 kind of score. Yeah. Rely on the experience of Caroline O'Day. I think she'll play a big part in this game, obviously. Maggie Brooks is going to match her on the other side as well, but the Rams, the big thing is you got to weather the storm early. And we've seen New Canaan in years past with a lead late in this game.
Yeah.
If they're in a similar kind of situation, how do they respond? Because we've watched them struggle a little bit with closing out Darien.
Yeah, you look at last year, they blew that lead against Darien, and for Darien to come back and win that game at Dunning Field was a heartbreaker for the Rams. But you're right, for Braden Dial to score some quick goals early on, Maggie Brooks has been playing so well too for Darien, and with all the star power I think on attack for Darien, I don't think she gets enough deserving credit. Yes, she won the MVP for the FCIAC tournament. Well deserved for Maggie. She's been playing really well. And for this Darien team to be able to beat New Canaan this time in the girls bracket, this is going to be big for Darien, for Coach Lindley to get themselves into the state championship. The state championship game, I should say.
Yep. Also going on today, Division I golf championships. Simsbury, Greenwich, Darien, and Xavier all in the mix at the top of the leaderboard, coming down to the final 5 or 6 holes in that tournament. Girls Championship is tomorrow. I do want to mention, though, over the weekend, Ridgefield, the last remaining Double L baseball team, Matt DeLuca, 7 innings pitched, 1 hitter, as the Tigers win 1-0. A huge win for Ridgefield. They've got to be feeling good now because you've got the top of your pitching rotation coming back around here as you get ready for Amity.
Yeah, you got to expect them to throw Alex Price in this one. Coach Fabry, they just got to get into the championship game. Just get there. That's the big goal. Then you can work around your pitching. You can throw DeLuca for maybe a couple innings here or there, and they had the depth to do it. Get Price in there. Get him the innings. See what he can do, and he's proven himself. I know he had that one bad start against Fairfield Ludlow in the quarterfinals, but throw Price in the semifinals, see what happens. Coach Fabry, again, he's done a terrific job with this crew this year after losing so many seniors to that group last year that lost by 1 run in the FCIAC final. I give Coach Fabry a ton of credit this year.
I might go Zach Arts.
You might go Zach Arts?
I think I would go Zach Arts, and you've got Price as your extra option out of the bullpen. I think that's the way you do it. Arts has been, you're right, Price had one bad outing, but Arts has really been the more consistent one. I think he is the guy you ride there. In worst case scenario, he goes, he comes out early and you have to throw Price, or he dominates and you've got Price lined up for potentially a championship.
Either way, that's not a bad idea, but obviously Coach Fabry is going to have something in the works right now and getting ready for a good Amity team coming up, and this is going to be a tough battle for Richfield, but for them to get to the state championship game would be huge for this program and a great bounce back story.
Last week of the year, Kev, can't hold anything back.
And only 10 more days until the World Cup, may I add. I had to throw that in there.
Goodbye.
And we have a hot dog eating contest on Saturday. Let's not forget about that. Come on.
We'll talk more about that later in the week. He mentioned soccer. That means we're done. We'll see you next time on the HAN Network.